I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that it's based on like an alternate version of World War II. I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
I guess what I meant, though, was that what stands out more is it's the stuff that's like from movies. You know?
Right.
It's pretty obvious that a huge amount of their inspiration for this came from
I'll do what I can.
Band of Brothers first, then maybe like Saving Private Ryan, and a little bit of Fury. Even.
Please hit.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
We're on the air.
I don't care what happens to me.
Why? Why are we on the air?
I'm just letting you know.
It's really stupid. I don't want to be in the air. I'm scared of heights. God.
Advancing.
It reminds me of an old horror story from the war, too.
There they are.
Target confirmed. Commencing attack.
It was a story amongst the Brits, from what I recall.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I see. Right there.
Brats, huh?
Of a place called Cell Neues Rathaus.
Watch out for straight.
My turn.
And basically, they had these rumors that
You can do this.
they took this German-controlled town hall in this one town.
Uh-huh.
And supposedly there was like all kinds of leftover evidence of bizarre occult rituals, like satanic imagery and shit.
Advancing.
Gosh.
They're looking.
Like, I guess one of the rumors was that, like, they went into this one room and there was, like, a pentagram drawn on the wall in blood, and there was a guy in there strapped into a chair, and, like, he had the head of a goat.
Lucky. You know how resilient those things are?
I'm not scared of anything.
I wish I could have one.
I'll crush you.
We can outlast them.
I think it's a little freaky for me.
Fire.
No taste.
Oh right, I forgot. It was down in the basement, and basically everything they found was in the basement of the rat house. But before the rat house was taken, the Nazis had completely filled the basement with water. So the people who found all this evidence and stuff, they were scuba divers who went down in underwater suits to
Just
check
watch.
that whole thing out.
I see. Interesting.
I'm a Federation
It's just
officer.
an old legend,
I will
though, I
not fall
guess. I
here.
don't know. Although, to this day, the Cell Neues Rathaus is... the basement was completely filled in with concrete for some reason after the war.
Now!
Anyway, I don't know, just a
Moving out.
spooky-ass war story.
Commencing counterattack. They're in range.
Ghost noises
Firing!
intensify.
Fire!
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Spooky, scary style.
Scary
Stone cold
style.
so
Yeah. Yeah. Spooky scary stuff.
Here I
Yeah, way to go, Vancy.
go! Yeah!
Drunk,
Yeah.
drunk ass bitch.
Ah, shit.
And there's a drunk girl in your squad in this one.
Onward.
She is so sloshed.
Keep firing!
Yeah, you told me about her. Do you like waifu her or something?
Good. That should make things a little easier.
I haven't waifued anyone yet in this game,
Let's provide support with the hop.
but I'm paying attention.
No, you're just waiting for Valkyria to show up.
She showed up in a kind of a vision. It was interesting.
Yeah, I guess she's in the game.
Technically, yeah.
Surprised they didn't put her front and center on the box art.
You did it!
She's in the game!
Thank you so
Put her in the middle of the box art.
Thank you, comrade. You saved our future.
They only did that with Valkyria 1 in the US release because
No.
they found out that she was the most breakout
Yeah, I know.
character, yeah, of the first game.
Those supplies kept us going. If we hadn't gotten those...
No, there's
don't
two
know what
very
to
good
think about
reasons for that, though. And only
but
two.
we should probably
Right.
save the celebrations until after the general's safe.
The left one and the right one.
No, of course.
Mhm.
Come on, let's go!
Holy mother of garbage.
Fucking Seablade.
I gotta see like you suck. Suck ass, man. Suck acid.
It's frustrating to see, yeah. The mission was tough though, not gonna lie.
Your performance in the previous battle was exemplary. Please accept this reward from headquarters.
I guess I gotta pay for upgrades and bullshit.
And bullshit. And bullshit.
Oh, hey Claude. What are we building?
That's what happens when your balls and shit.
Yeah? And once you see my dick, you won't want it!
Is that from something?
Yes.
What's
just
it from?
It's just from Tourette's guy. He's just this guy with Tourette's, and his son makes videos of him
Wow, a
having
masterpiece!
Tourette's.
Oh.
He films the stuff that he says, and it's just so over the top. It's hilarious to me.
Right.
I love that line. Once you see my dick, you won't want it.
All done.
What's wrong with it? Is it like a corkscrew?
That's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, like, what is he talking about? What do you mean? Once you see my dick, you won't want it.
Is it green? I'm not racist. I'm okay with green dick.
I don't know, man. He was so angry and drunk during the video that I don't think he even knew what he was saying.
There was someone there. Yeah, it sounds like it though. Angry and drunk, that sounds like a fantastic combination. Hi guys, my name is Drunk and Angry. And ornery. And
Whoa.
horny, I mean what?
Sahone. Sahone.
Yeah, that.
Wow.
Me love you long time.
What the crap is that?
What?
Oh, that's just the lights. Okay. Oh no, I started getting some lights, like, in my room. I guess the neighbor turned on their
All done, Claude.
light and was
What do you think?
going through my blinders, and it was like really weird for a second.
I did.
And I was like, whoa. Wow, that guy sucked ass.
It's funny when people suck ass.
It really is. Like, I should have been dead 3 times over, but he like squandered every chance he had.
All done.
Fucking throw him some low smoke and let's get that Budweiser.
Ah, done already? Drop by whenever and...
Joe
Oh,
Schmidt.
that was a bad shot.
Welcome, Captain Wallace. Let's begin the training course.
Joe Schmidt's second favorite word was shit fuck. His favorite
So,
word
who
was
will it be
fuck
today?
shit.
Only 5 minutes left.
Only 5 minutes to puff the D.
Who's your favorite gun again?
Everyone, do
GFL?
your best.
Oh, jeez, dude. I feel like I have so many favorites.
Oh
It's
yeah,
hard.
I get you.
Yeah,
Nice
it's hard to
work.
list just
You're
one.
You're a
but-
level higher.
But like narrow it down as you
Well, I
just,
guess
like,
in a
start
way,
naming some.
kind of funny in a way. One of my favorites is
Nice work. Your
M1919A4.
shock troopers have discovered new potential.
Alright, the ones that saved your grandfather or
Save
something.
my gramps. Yeah.
The MP1 with the red
Done for the
eyes.
day?
MP40.
whenever
Yeah,
you're
she's a
ready.
cutie.
Clothes. Oh, not whatever.
Oh.
MP40.
Yeah, I
I
like.
don't remember which one that one is again.
She's a 2-star. One in the SS
oh.
uniform. Short
Oh,
guns.
yeah, right, her. Yeah, okay, I got her. I got it.
I just think
The
she's
SMG,
cute.
right?
Yeah. I love Thompson a lot.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. That's right.
Yeah, Thompson is cool. I love Mark 23 a lot just because
What
it's such
the-
an awesome
oh.
gun, and my dad actually
Right.
has one.
Mach 23.
And I think I might also, as a result, like Python when we finally get her.
Yeah, I was actually looking at her wiki since she's finally on the wiki. Apparently she is not something you're gonna be able to craft. It's gonna be like a drop in an event.
Oh wow.
But it's
Okay.
not even something you're guaranteed, so you're gonna have to work for that one.
Right, I get you. I'm not a surprise. I mean, if you know, it took me a long time of looking to find my Python, so I mean,
Python.
I kind of had to work for that.
Monty Python.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so stupid. So there's this new super, right, where like the warlock just goes up in the air and then he like shoots down a giant laser beam, right?
Yeah.
But basically, he becomes a the sitting duck, right?
Yes,
Because
that's
he's
Yeah.
just up there. So the guy
All
did
the
it while he's
resistance
lower
members
health.
made it out safe as well.
He killed like one of my teammates,
General?
and then I just shot him and he died.
The interrogation
Nice.
Because I was like behind
It's
him,
nothing
so
like
he
Right.
couldn't turn around fast
Safe
enough. It's like,
call.
okay. Good super, bro.
We'll take him to our
Yeah.
I really planned that one out.
It's time he
Yeah,
joined
like I
us as our
said, throw him
leader.
some low smoke and let's get that Budweiser.
I see. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
We can handle the rest from here. You'd better get going. You're all in a hurry, aren't
BRB.
you?
Need a drink.
Okay.
Yeah. We need to end this war before springtime, remember? It's a promise then. My baby's counting on it.
Too. I had a good game right there.
Alright, I'm back home.
I just had like the most amazing game ever without realizing it till the end.
Right.
Well,
should
not the
know.
most amazing, but it did like
it's a
a
boy,
lot better than I was thinking.
Plan on naming him Chloe.
32 kills with a 3 points to ratio.
Nice, man. That is pretty kick-ass.
I don't know if I really deserve to have.
It's funny because I only used my super
one.
once in that game.
He's got a
Right.
point.
Towards the end, I was
You
like,
don't want him
oh
turning
yeah,
out
I
to be a
have this
stick in
thing
the
in
mud
charge
like this guy.
forever.
Yeah, I hate the fact that I'm always forgetting I have it too, you know?
I'm actually okay with it because I hate the
It'll be a
super.
tough one. And that's good enough
Sometimes
for
I
me.
purposely don't use it because there isn't really any
Goodbye,
like, good
everyone.
moments to use it.
I wish you all the best
Right.
of luck.
It's very situational is what it is. It's not stupid, it's just situational.
I get you.
It's not as hit LR, you get to nuke something for free. You know,
Yeah.
like Fist of Havoc. But it's funny, the one time I used it, it died
Damn
right
it.
away.
They're after the
Anyway.
general.
But I also got a kill. I killed the guy who killed me. So I'm not gonna count that as a waste because if I hadn't used my super, I
You
would
would've
have
just
died
died.
without getting a kill. Yeah.
Right.
Because he was using heavy ammo. So that was just. I'm like, I'm okay with this.
Oh, counter sniping.
Counter sniping.
She got him.
Mika! Is he...
Oh man.
But yeah,
How's
anyway.
Mika? Oh, go ahead.
Cold Python's design's really slick.
Yeah, it is in real life too. A very elaborate trigger action, which is why most people believe it's the best revolver ever made. At least
Best.
double action.
I need to move.
This is the best revolver I've ever eaten. Yum yum yum.
Come
Wait.
on.
Yeah, mine's from the 60s.
60s.
These resistance guys are all just civilians, huh?
Do you suck on the barrel?
No regulations to follow,
I bet
A
you
little.
suck on
no
the barrel.
medals for their
A little.
heroes.
Yeah,
But if anyone's a
I
hero,
I had to be careful not to do it too much though, because I don't want the
he
blue
ran on
finish
his
to come
own
off.
faith.
Do you shove it up your
But
ass?
he had a reason to survive. You
Not
all
that
heard him.
one. Not that
How
gun.
could he leave his baby behind? He lived a life to be proud of.
I can't handle a
Turned
Yeah,
away
6-inch
from
sniper
doing the
barrel.
rifle.
right thing. Not even when it meant death.
One more reason we
Um,
have to stop the Empire.
Thanks to my grandpa, yes.
No, he gave you
Yeah, the
that gun you
Remington,
told me about. It's a sniper.
Remington
Made him
700,
a
yeah.
promise.
It's got a fancy
Right on.
German scope on it.
Yeah.
What era is that from?
Well, the design is quite old. Like, probably early 20th century, but the version of it that I have is, of course, it was made in the 2000s, early 2000s, and it's a more, modernized version.
Oh, so it hasn't seen like any battle really.
No, not that one. Not my grandpa's. No.
So
It
it's more
wasn't.
decorative for him.
In his younger days, he was a bit of a hunter,
Right, okay. What the mother of garbage?
I do have an M1 Garand, thanks to my mom, funny enough.
Oh, is that the pink one?
Yeah, the Ping one
Nice.
from World War II. Basically, the U.S. government had all these leftover M1 Garands from the World War II era, and they were just looking to get rid of them. So,
So they
rather
just
than
sold them off cheap?
kinda, they hosted something. They sold it. They sold them off super cheap. Basically, you paid a $100 entry fee to get into a civilian marksmanship training program hosted by the government.
Uh-huh.
And if you completed the training program and passed the marksmanship test, then they would send you in the mail an M1 Garand.
You can do that?
In those days, yeah, that was like in the 70s or early 80s. Now it's way more complicated. Like, I think that now you can technically still send a gun in the mail, but the thing is that it can't be shipped with ammo. It has to be declared and paperwork has to be filed out, and it can't be shipped across state lines. So you can only ship it somewhere inside the state that you're in.
Right. Makes sense, since each state has their own laws about firearms.
Yeah.
By firearms, I mean gay.
Yeah, they have their own rules about the gay.
Yeah. Honestly, it's such a, it's false advertising, is what it is. They're like, hey man, firearms.
Could you roll them up into
But
little
then,
pieces?
I don't see anyone
About the
with
size of a
firearms,
fingertip.
okay?
Right.
Okay.
No one. They go outside, no one's running around with firearms. They have guns, but they
They
don't
have guns, but they don't have
so
firearms.
Stupid.
Right,
Those are
I
a bit
get you.
It's
too
so
small.
stupid, so stupid.
But you
Swear
said
to
it
God.
had to be the size of a fingertip.
And then, like, everybody's always talking about the right to bear arms, and I don't see anybody with bare arms.
Exactly. What's up with that?
I'm sorry.
Like, there's all these
I forgot your
different
hands are a
kinds of
little bit
arms
smaller
and no
than
one
mine.
has
How
them. I
about
don't
this?
get it.
I
man.
need them the size of a hard
I'd be
can.
interested in one of
You've had
each,
those before,
personally.
haven't you?
Big ass grizzly bear arms, yeah.
Uh-huh. One
Yeah.
of the soldiers gave me one yesterday.
There you go then. Just fill up the jar with
Yeah, my
cotton
mom
buds,
entered
that
the shooting
does.
competition with my dad. Well, not really competition, but marksmanship program.
Yeah?
So they both took the test, and then you had to go out and shoot, like... You basically could shoot for all day, and your goal was to complete 10 rounds of shooting with a passing marksmanship score. So my dad and my mom both shot, and my dad was shooting for a friend of his who was saying that he wanted to he wanted my dad to get the gun because the government was limiting it to 1 gun per participant. So my dad was shooting to get him one of the guns, and my mom decided that she would do it too as long as she was there to get a gun for her future child someday.
Right.
But it was funny because I guess my dad says he never told my mom this, but well, after a while of shooting, she got a really bruised shoulder because 30-06 is a pretty powerful round, and I guess apparently she was kind of a bad shot.
Rip.
So what ended up happening was that my dad finished his 10th qualifying round, and he kept doing rounds after that, but he would lay down next to my mom, and if my mom would be like sucking, then he would just like move his barrel over and shoot her target for her to increase her score. So he didn't tell her that he did that, but basically they both shot all day and they got enough that they could both get a certificate. And then my dad sent his M1 to his friend as he promised, and my mom got hers in the mail and she ended up giving it to me.
I have to say, my job's gotten a lot easier with such a helpful little assistant.
What the mother? Oh.
Thank you, Angie.
Sleeper sailor.
I wish I could stay here and help you all the time,
And then put on a little music. If it gets annoying, you can just let me know.
Your voice is annoying, so I mean.
I'd be happy for the help. Karen's skilled, but she'd make a fine nursewoman if you wanted to be one. I guarantee it.
Wish I could. Then I could stay with everyone forever.
Oh, I'm sure you can. What's got you so uncertain?
I see. That's everyone accounted for then. Thank you for the report. The ship will be back on course soon. Do what you can to help finish resupplying and prepare to embark.
So, Squad E made it back in time.
Yes, just as expected. But their morale seems low right now. There were some losses suffered in the local resistance group.
What the?
On the other hand, the team seems more united in their goal than ever before.
I'm glad they're on our side. But I'm afraid the key to the rest of this operation is...
That's one of the blocked transmission lines. It's coming from Ship 1. We're being hailed by the Cavalier.
Put them through, now!
Yes, sir. Captain.
Interlude: The Witch and the Wolf.
Mr. Wallace, the Resistance wanted you to have this medal. Please accept it. As a
Oh, I got a medal.
Good job.
It's like some Crimea story. One sec.
I've tracked the Centurion's position to this area. Right where we want them.
Excuse me.
Okay, I'm back.
Weeby, weeb.
Tie.
No. No tie.
Aww.
Uh-huh.
It was only
So how do you plan on taking
Bob.
them down?
Our goal is to capture the ship, not
Boop.
capsize it.
Capsize. You sure get hung up on details, my man. The snow cruiser is a beautiful piece of work. It's not like
Is
you
that
get to
postmodern?
No, but I mean it's kind
Or
of
is
from
it
the same
actually in
area.
the song?
It's New Orleans
Yeah,
funeral
like Doc
music.
Bell does, taking a scientific interest in it.
It's what?
Promise.
New Orleans funeral music.
Promise.
It sounds a little too upbeat to be funeral music.
Well, on the way to the cemetery, they play a sad music. It's more of a black thing, New Orleans blacks, you know?
Oh.
Cultural thing, you know?
Right.
But on the way to the cemetery, they play sad music and they have a slow march. And then after the burial is done, on the way back home, they play this kind of music, and everybody like smiles and dances, you know, and stuff. Because it's like, you know, they're sad to lose them, but they're like happy that they're, you know, in a better place.
Right.
Primaria, I'll have you sorting as well.
Interesting.
But know this, failure is not an option. Nor shall disobedience be tolerated. Belgar's orders. Should you repeat the same mistake?
Whoa there. What do you mean by that?
The laboratory is demanding you return near Valkyria. One of its top researchers, Professor Forster, has defected. Since then, our working relationship has been strained. We've been ignoring your demands thus far. But should you fail to prove yourself useful in the Crystal Sea,
Holy shit! You really suck at this. Sure, you're an ace when it comes to war, but you don't have a clue how to treat a lady.
I beg your pardon?
What the hell are you doing, twisting her arm like that before the final showdown?
That got me in the mood for something southern.
Seriously, what do you and Belgar think Primaria is?
Got you in the mood for what?
Something southern. I grew up in Alabama, don't forget. Oh, it's a commercial.
A weapon. A tool.
Come on.
Nothing more.
Okay, here we go.
What the?
Look, you too, Primaria. We're all comrades in arms, aren't we? What?
If the South would have won, we'd have had it made.
Comrades?
Of course. Live together. Fight together.
If they were proven guilty, then they would swing quickly.
What else would you call that but comrades?
That's so dumb.
So come on. You can afford to act like a team, right?
I think not.
I want nothing to do with it.
Out of your way for a second.
I'd have all the whiskey made in Tennessee, and all the horses
My grandmother was from there. That guy's a bit of a troll.
Ban China or something?
Oh, he said, I'd have all the cars made in the Carolinas, and I'd ban all the ones made in China.
Yeah.
It was blue-collar humor, I guess. He's either trolling, though, or he's like a bigger redneck than I think he is.
You're nothing but a failure. Just a useless defect.
Perhaps I ought to return it to the laboratory. No matter. There's more where it came from.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't speak to many people about the Civil War, honestly.
Why? Am I truly nothing but a failure?
Selvaria, you are the pride of the
Yeah,
Empire.
I mean, well, I certainly agree with the end of slavery.
Prove
So that's
your
something
loyalty
that I
to his
totally
grace.
agree with.
Show the world your power.
It wasn't as black and white, you know, as it gets portrayed most of the time.
Help me! Someone, please, save me!
Hey, you in there?
Like, I guess what I would say, one thing I would say, it was less black and white probably than... Well, I don't know. I would say it was less black and white than Stalinism, in my opinion, you know.
I hear Fenrir in there, which means you're in there too, aren't you, princess?
But at the end of the day, slavery did need to go, you know?
No, it didn't. That was a mistake.
I need to speak with
the Civil War. I can have
Coming
like
in, okay?
Your own black person?
Yep. And mine.
Would it be a man or a woman?
No!
Who cares?
Stay out!
As long as they can work. As long as they can do whatever the hell I want. Gosh.
Warner,
Come here, slave.
you okay in there?
Hold up
Crying
this
again?
umbrella for me to keep me out of the sun.
I told you to stay out!
Slave. Do my chores
Fine,
for me.
my bad.
Do my laundry,
You're right,
I don't
it's
do it
rude
right
to
now.
enter a
I just
lady's
wanna
room without
sleep.
permission.
Then leave me be.
Okay,
You
slave.
could wait a millennium and still I wouldn't invite you in.
So I have to stand out here 1,001 years?
Yeah, I'm out.
Fine by me. You're worth the wait. You've been through a lot, haven't you? Must be hard having to tough it out all by your lonesome. Why don't we talk about
Fire Emblem. Zeros.
Leave me alone!
it? Sorry, no
And
candy.
one of the big things about it, I
What
guess,
sort of
that
gentleman would I be if I left a
from my
damsel in
studies
distress?
Dude, you're slave. Grinded on this MMO
Guess
for
I'll
me.
just come back later.
is often misrepresented about the time is that the war really wasn't as much about slavery as it's made out to be.
Yeah, it was about the South sucks.
It was about
That's right. Sorry, Nak, you suck. You suck ass.
slavery was a it's okay. I don't actually have any Confederate lineage that I know of, honestly.
Okay, but you're related to Robert E. Lee.
Not to my knowledge.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, my mother's side were Irish and a small amount of Native American and some Romanian.
Native American? How are you still alive? I thought you guys were wiped out.
And then my dad's side was pretty much all German.
I thought we
Austrian.
Americans wiped you out. You filthy engine.
Well, you missed one, like, 128th of one in me, so,
Damn. Oh, BRB, I'm gonna go kill you now.
But yeah, I mean, I just, only 4% of the population of the North was in favor of ending slavery. The majority of the South had no stake in slavery. Like, when you talk about people in the South who actually owned slaves, that's like 1 or 2% of people, you know, maybe. And the majority of people were like poor rednecks who couldn't even read or write. So, I mean, they didn't join this war effort to fight, you know, to protect some rich asshole's slaves, you know.
Hinga-dinga-durgan. Sure they did, because they were slaves themselves.
Wage slaves, maybe. Although I don't know if I fully believe in that term. That's a bit complicated.
Complicated, more like complacent, aided. That's a word now.
Okay, interesting.
The mother of garbage is that? Oh, come! You just stole my freaking kill, you piece of shit.
BRB.
Okay. He's gonna make that so much. That trips me out every time.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back, bastard.
Yeah, you know, just the funny thing about... Oh, go ahead.
You should get on this thing too so you can do one of your ones. I want to kick your ass. Do it. Do it. You won't, no balls.
Get on what?
Destiny.
Maybe in a minute after I finish this thing.
But you've changed, Kai.
Okay.
This war has changed you.
Yeah, just a little interesting tidbit on slavery.
All you care about is...
Claude.
Well, for one thing,
to know the truth,
by the time it was abolished in the U.S., economically it was a waste of money by then anyway. And it would have gone extinct on its own even without a war. Although I think that... I still think that a war or some sort of action was justified because, I mean, slavery for any amount of time is wrong, you know.
Right.
But
no, it's not.
The point I'm making is that, in general, with industrialization and mechanization, keeping slaves and using them as labor had become economically inefficient. And they couldn't compete with mechanized farmers anymore. Now,
You think?
My face is a mechanized farmer.
let's think about it. You have to feed slaves, you have to clothe them, you have to take care of their health.
No, you don't.
You know, you have to have a quarters built for them.
Not really.
Whereas a machine, you know, you just have a machine in a barn and then you pay some guy a little bit of money to drive the machine for you, you know. So, yeah, slavery was on its way out. But again...
That's a shame, to be honest.
But again, like, slavery for no amount of time is justified, in my opinion.
Belgar.
But at the same time, when we discuss, it seems like a lot of people, they bring up the United States and they try to argue that the United States is so rich because it built its wealth on the backs of slaves.
Goodness gracious, I can hardly keep up with these constant calls from headquarters.
I wonder if it has anything to do with the industrial boom.
Economically, though,
in quite a state of turmoil.
that makes zero
that
sense.
had nothing to do with anything.
Right. The industrialization didn't do anything. Nothing at all.
Yeah, it didn't do anything. Advancements in technology.
I suppose that would
yeah, most socialists and communists will tell you the U.S. was built on the backs of slaves. Which, I mean, I'm not trying to say that we don't have a history there that we need to own up to. You know, slavery is inhumane and ugly and inexcusable.
No, it's not. And
they're
yes,
assembling all the troops they can muster to defend the capital.
But it did not create the wealth of this nation as we know it today. Because if there was a correlation between slavery and the wealth of a nation, then the Middle East and Brazil should both be several times richer than the United States.
If only they knew the truth of Operation
Look at Brazil now.
They'd be throwing everything they have at it.
There's interesting stuff going on in Brazil that I could bring up, but I'll save that for at least a minute here, because I just...
You mean how Brazil's going to hell?
It is going... Well, yeah, that's part of it, certainly, yes. And something springing out of that, which is interesting. But, yeah, Brazil in the history of the United
I
States,
trust you.
like I spoke to a guy who was really well informed, and he didn't know this. He thought that 12 million slaves were brought from Africa to the United States, and that's not accurate. 12 million slaves were brought from Africa
Now then,
to the
about your
Americas.
roles in the coming operation.
Of those 12 million,
Yes, my lord.
some roughly 375,000 came to the United States. So not even 1 million, not even half of 1 million of the 12 million that were brought to the Americas.
I would have you rest for
Right.
now.
4.8 million. Pretty big chunk. 4.8 million of the slaves brought from Africa to the Americas
Allow us
were brought to Brazil. So kind of close to half of all slaves that were sent to the United States were sent to Brazil.
But of course, you two are my trump.
Half of all slaves that were sent to the Americas
I
were sent
can't
to Brazil.
listen.
Right.
And like less than 1/20th
You
of them were sent to the United
understand,
States.
Yes, my lord. We do.
Mexico took in some 200,000 African slaves. And they have a smaller, even then they had a smaller population than the United States. So at 200,000, the proportion of slaves in
We are
Mexico
yours to command.
was larger than the proportion of slaves in the United States at 375,000. So
I'm glad you're taking so well to
there's
your
no correlation
calculations.
between slavery
You'd be
and a
ashamed.
nation becoming
Thank
wealthy.
you, Lord Belgar.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord Bel.
Yeah.
I suppose just makes it even more inexcusable at the end of the day, if that's even possible.
Inexcusable. It is excusable though. Dumbass.
Man, you're really you're a real hardliner, huh?
Hey there, princess.
That's the problem with America these days. Gotta bring back slavery.
Oh, come on, Fenrir. Don't give me that. You and me, we're one and the same. Loyal knights, sworn to protect our master. That makes us comrades too, right, boy?
I don't recall knighting the likes of you.
Nice view. You come here often?
But yeah, it's interesting. I've seen a lot of there's a growing protest movement in Brazil,
It's nice to have a place
which
to
I thought
yourself.
was really interesting,
Growing up, I didn't have any.
and that I would actually probably root for.
Sure, I was born into a wealthy house.
Yeah.
Problem was, my mother
And
was
it's
the
basically just a libertarian movement.
Like most bastards, I was neglected.
And I saw like a big protest in the streets that
One
they
day I
had.
had enough, and I ran away to the slums.
Right.
And
It was a real
one of the
cesspool,
signs says,
a place for the lowest
Menos
of the low.
marx,
But at least I was
mas
free.
mises,
The streets
which
were my true
means
home.
less
I
marks,
met new people,
more
found friendship,
mises.
even fell in love.
More what?
Mises. Ludwig von Mises. He was a
If my mind's in the
libertarian, kind of free
It's always
market,
gonna be in there, guys.
capitalist philosopher.
Holding on to that helps me get by. How about you?
Okay, that's a name.
You got a place like that?
Yeah, so they're kind of pushing for, there's a big movement pushing for kind of a libertarian insurgence
No.
in Brazil.
If I belong
But I've
anywhere,
also heard that a
it's under the
far-right
knife.
movement, like a real far-right movement is on the rise down there in response to the corruption.
Yeah, if you don't
Every
go
day was a
commie,
new
you don't do
experiment.
anything.
They'd strap electrodes to my head, apply
Communism
stimuli,
or bust, man.
and observe how I'd react.
Can't wait for the Democratic People's Republic of
Needle
Brazil.
piercing, water torture, sleep deprivation. Cut me apart,
Technically,
put me back
communism,
together,
as much as I hate
slice
to
my
admit
brain.
it in a way, communism has never been achieved.
Easy.
But
Get it?
then again,
Oh yeah, I get what you mean.
I fought so
I
hard
doubt
to
that it
be
ever
chosen.
will be achieved because
now,
just by
Because humans
virtue,
are simply incapable of that.
right? By virtue of the changes that have
if
to be
I
made,
fail again,
You'd have to
And-
change
back to the
human
lab
nature.
for more experiments,
right?
more
And that
torture,
usually ends up with
until my
people being
final
lined up
son.
against a wall and
Do you
shot.
finally see?
Exactly.
No one can understand my pain. Leave me.
You
I
can't
have nothing
change.
more to say
You
to you.
can't force people to change.
Not happening.
Their ideals.
You think you deserve to be locked up
or
in
their
some loony bin?
livelihood.
To hell with that. I'll never let those bastards have you.
Hey man, we're gonna take all your shit. And we're gonna pre-distribute it
Right here is
equally
where you
among
belong.
everyone. You'll
And
be
that's
cool with
final.
that? No, it doesn't matter. We're doing it anyway. If you resist this, you get to die.
Dare you?
Oh.
Not in a million years.
Right?
Not doing it for you? Huh? My pecs are usually a big hit with the ladies.
You, cur.
Yeah, you're right.
Communism is
That was a
nothing
real
but a pretty ideal.
From this day forward,
Essentially.
my heart is your home. And yours alone.
Pretty unrealistic ideal that is completely imaginable.
My dad explains it better than me. You know,
If you want
I mean,
somewhere to belong,
being a professor.
look no further.
Don't tell your
You
dad
laugh
he's gay.
when you cry.
Okay.
Fenrir, teach this insolent oaf his place.
Because you know he is.
Come on, boy, we're comrades, remember?
I mean,
Totally.
he got divorced from his mom, so that can only mean one thing.
Right.
Damn
Gay,
it.
gay
Think
stuff.
about what I said,
More
Chromaria.
gay stuff.
You do have a place where you belong.
What a fool.
Sorry, man. He's into butts, like you, but
Yeah.
male
Chapter
butts.
14. Azure Flame.
Are you gonna get on yet?
Oh, shit. Well, let me save this, and then I'll end the broadcast for now. Thanks for watching.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then let me take just a minute here, and then I guess I'll